Hello then, yep, welcome to round 2 here in Tier 2, House of Racing, and as you can see, the rains have opened, the heavens have opened yet again. More rain here in HOR. Oh, just as I say that, Chesney clatters the barrier, but yeah, wet inters, wet and, I don't think it's wet at all, is it? Just inters in quali.
Yeah,
dry race here, but yeah, interesting that it's mixed conditions, so can the people that are rain masters put it in a good position and then just survive in the race, or can the people that have only practiced maybe a bit of dry survive this first part of the race weekend? One other thing that's worth noting as well, we've got a lot of new faces in today. Obviously a lot of people are away at Silverstone, summer holidays, things like that, so the chat and a different opportunity for new drivers to hop in. So I think we've got a full array of new faces. Korsgaard in at McLaren, CT3 again reserving like he did last week. Jamaican Jam, who was in Tier 3 back in Season 6, he's back again to see what he can do in Tier 2. Bron obviously last week won in his first race, so we can see what he does this week. Slick's back as well. Slick's back racing after missing. He didn't miss the first week. It was Hugo that missed the first week, sorry. Who else have we got new? Denmark obviously reserved last week, but he's still a new driver into the league, and then reserved teammates for the day. He's got Lil D, the one who's in at Sauber as well. So plenty of new faces trying to wow us to see if they can maybe move it into a seat. Obviously, their attendance continues to be a bit poor for the full-timers. Changes may have to be made if we've got keen reserves, and only makes sense to push them up into a full-time seat. First couple of times coming in though, and Jono is the man to beat currently then. He's on a 21.9, a couple of tenths clear of Troy and Matt then. But the only man in the 21s then, Jono so far. Ooh, we got Denmark just put at P4 as well, 22.5, just below match time by 2 milliseconds. So cars flying in with their first laps. Obviously it's staying inters for the full session, but you'd imagine it's going to be relatively dry towards the end. So it's just whether people, I don't think it'd be dry enough to track the softs on, but it's whether there's a definitive dry line to the point that we're going to be multiple seconds quicker at that point. So we'll just have to wait.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be like Catch 4 where the times really ramp up. But
yeah,
I think the important thing with here though is you just want the times in the board, because obviously there's, I think, we're seeing a lot of people's final run more track and validation. But just get a time in the board and then at least you have so much to sit on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, plenty of time still left to go here, so who knows what can happen. Only 10 cars with lap times on the board as well, so I think Denmark's going again here as well. Just as I'm on board with him, obviously reserving yet again, as I've said. We've got Aston Martin coming to the line as well. That's Jono starting. Oh, yeah, I think he's just starting another now. A couple of cars coming to the line now. We've gone to some new cars to see where they are. We've got Bron who's invalidated his first run. Hugo's in sector 2, so we'll go to the car ahead on track. He was actually awkward yet to set time as well, so we'll watch awkward through to see what he can do on his first run as well. Impressive first race to be fair from awkward. Obviously he didn't start the season on the grid, but got drafted in after a late departure, so did effectively start as a full-time driver, but only got a late call up to the grid, and he had a decent performance in Miami, so we can see if he can match that again with a solid race here in a soggy Canada. Apparently Castello in the chat is saying that he's got word from Chesney that he got a 20.8 in practice, so that's enough to tell me that the track is going to heavily ramp up, and just as we talk about a 20.8, Auckland matches that time then, and the Hugo goes even better.
Hugo, yeah.
I know from previous experience that Hugo is a bit of a wet weather specialist, so he may be taking K1's throne of being the man who's good and he's the rain man. But 4 tenths gap already between the front two. 4 drivers now in the 21s, but the times will continue to drop then, I imagine, as it, like we said, that dry line starts to form.
Just coming out of the pits as well, last week's pole system, so I mean he got pole as well, didn't he? 'Cause he went on the software at the end, so obviously he won't have that sort of mixed strategy here. You'd imagine everyone's just into the all the way through the stuff.
Oh, CT3 stopped on track, I don't know where.
Rob's coming up to the line, and that's another invalidated lap.
Yeah, starting his actual lap now, so we can see
his void, yes.
Got aboard with Lil D1 as well to see what he can do on his first run here at HOR. Slight unknown, obviously, considering this is his first session in the league, so interested to see where he can put it. To the line, the first run, where does he go? Puts it P13, slightly off the pace for now as he just finds his footing here. We can see it. Plenty of time left, as we've said, to get a timer on the board and then find improvement. I think awkward. I don't know if he's starting another lap here or setting one. He's got a lot of ERS to play with, so I imagine he's recharged. He's about to go again, but we'll just double check as he crosses the line. Yeah, 13 seconds off his time, so.
Gone invalidates another lap as well, and he's flashing north fuel now. Of course.
It's
one of those, like, it's not a big deal because you can still come and change that
lap towards the bottom.
Making jams coming up to the final chicane, so.
Hot lap, so see what he does is he's just coming into sector 3 now. So pay attention to what the other Merc can do. Nearly a complete sandwich of the field here. Obviously Hugo top of the field.
Quite a few laps, hasn't he? So he's still completely fresh tyres for the slick to see where he can fly.
So puts a P6.
It's only 6 for now.
So whether he's put enough fuel in to go again, we'll watch him round to see what he does. He'll charge and go again. I imagine he's got enough fuel for a couple of runs. Still 8 minutes left, so plenty of time for him to charge and go again. Nothing wrong with that. As Chesney comes into the pits as well. John in the garage. Matt's down on his time currently as well. Got an Alpine coming to the line there, I think. Who's that? It's Jamaican Jam come around to actually start his time now.
I think the next one, actually, this guy might end up picking at the end of this lap.
Yeah, he's low on fuel. He's got a purple sector 2, so it's whether he chooses to finish that.
I was going to say, it flashed up his 1.7 up, so.
I mean, 1.7 up is going to put him in a. I mean, he's not heavily going to improve, but in terms of his actual position, not towards that top 5, yeah, he will be finishing his time then. So keeps it valid. Tests the limits there though. Looked like he's going to invalidate, but hops over the curbs well to the line. Then where can he put it? Puts it P2. Finds heaps of time in sector 3 as well. Just a tenth and a half off provisional pole, so solid time from Marutha's guy there. Hugo's continuing to improve as well. He's up half a tenth, so that I'm moving back into the onto the front row just with that improvement alone. Aiden's also on a run behind them. He's in P4 currently. Korsgaard looks to be improving as well. They'll watch him to the line to see where he can put it. Korsgaard moves up to P4 then, finds half a second on his previous time. We've got a yellow flag towards the back. I imagine that's Aretha Scott, yeah, low on fuel.
This is going to be Jamaican Jam's first time on the board. He keeps it valid through the final chicane, so it's just a run up the line to see where he swaps in.
P7. Solid time. Cutting out to Hugo and see what Hugo could do. Aiden's just ahead of him as well. So watch Aiden to see if he can find any improvement. He does. He goes provisional pole. But what can Hugo do behind him? Goes P2, both into the 19s. 19.875 for Aiden. Just shy of a tenth behind Hugo as well. So both solid times, clear of the pack as well. 4 tenths clear of Awkward's time, who when he set his time looked like to be the man to beat. But obviously drying track continually. So still time for these guys to come back into the pits and try again. Who else is on the time? We've got, is that a Rootus guy coming into the pits, I think, behind, yeah.
One's on a bit of a trend coming up to the hairpin now, so it's a chance to try and at least get a time on the board for him. One of the only 2 drivers left of that one.
But I did a lot of runs here, so he just needs to get a clean run together. Race winner last time out. Ron needs to find something here. Still got 5 minutes left, so he hasn't got loads of time yet to go round, and when he hesitates on the turn, and
yeah, I was about to say it looks like he's going to cut it, and then he just had to back out and make sure that he didn't invalidate yet another lap, but he still gets the valid up the line and keeps it.
Not bad to be fair, considering he's on that limit. Still got 5 minutes left on the clock then to come round, and then I imagine he's going to maybe put a fresh set on or just go low fuel for the second one. But just about enough time, I think, for him to come back in. CT3, the only man really out on the track then on a time. I think Jono's about to start his run, so we'll go to CT3. Currently the only man without time on track slightly at a weird time, low on fuel. On his what probably be his last run.
He's going to complete this.
Oh,
that's what I was thinking. If he decides to complete this, it's probably be his last run. Like
yeah,
said, yeah. Will then be in low fuel mode and not able to get round and back out. So whether or not he's going to dive in here, in fact, just changing tyres. Or
I think it makes sense to, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's see, does he take the final corner? He does then. So that's going to be CT3 done then. This time will be his one and only time then in this session. No ERS left to play with. What can he set though? One and only time. Puts a P8 with a 21.1, so not bad to be fair from the reserve driver. I imagine it's going to be Braun back into the pits. Look at that, he's not got much time at all, has he? Oh, is he going to make it 3:42? Oh, he should probably just about.
Yeah.
Even tight then.
There's quite a lot of people though who haven't even moved from the pits yet, so no one's worried about time.
Go on, chop, come on, guys. Yeah, I think you can leave at like 2 minutes 30 probably, and that's the time you kind of want to be looking at leaving. I've like a John of those. He's gone straight back into the pits. I don't know why he's done it. Why has he done that? I guess he might have invalidated his time. He's only just come out on the track. It's slightly weird.
I was going to say, if you only come out, I feel like you'd be fueled for too fast.
Yeah. Strange. But yeah, we're
going to imagine those coming up to the line now, they're going to push, pull off, push again.
Yeah.
So.
Orchid is out on track again then, so it looks like he's going to be... Is he going to be in his last run? We'll wait for the yellow flag to disappear for CT3 eventually to see how much longer is left, but it's not long left on the clock. So this could be Orchid's last run. We'll see what he looks like in terms of improvements. He comes into sector 2 and he's 3/10 down. So he's backed out, I think. Yeah, put his ERS on then, so he's gonna go again. I guess he's just got enough time and fuel to then get rounds to get to the line to then set his official final time of the session.
Yeah, 2 minutes 20 then on the clock, so it's beginning to be a bit of a rush of people towards the exits now.
Yeah,
one of these tough ones this game. Yeah, obviously you want to be last cross in conditions like this, but with the dirty air on this game, I picture some of these aren't going to make the line. I feel like there's going to be too much backing up towards the end.
Yeah, 2 minutes. I mean, who's still in the pits? We've still got CT3, we know is probably done. Aiden, who's just coming out now. Both Astons on their way out on track. Jamaican Jam as well. I think it's just going to be CT3 that stays in the pits. But we're
which makes sense because we didn't think he'd have time to get in and out again.
Yeah, but here it goes then. What can Orchid do? Does he set the pace? Oh, he's just starting this time, obviously. So we'll keep an eye on him.
I don't know, deadlines.
Yeah, we'll cut back. We've got Haas coming to the line. Who was that? It's going to be Braun and Matt Edge in the Haas. Both in sector 3, both about to start their one and only their last time.
I've just gone on to Denmark and he's invalidated at the final chicane, which has done this and next. He potentially has enough time to get all the way around, but it's going to have to be a bit of a tough back.
Yeah.
I think he's in deep trouble.
That's when he's got the ERS then to get around and do it, but yeah. Good spot that he might be completely finished then. He might be bottom of the pack, staying with that 22.3. K1's letting people go here, but he needs to get a move on. He needs to realise that these people aren't on times, they're just... He's fully stopped on track.
In the Haas as well, he's fully done because he's just invalidated his side and
wow.
No chance getting round and then the line.
But K1's fully... I don't know what K1's doing, he's fully getting out of the way. But yeah, 34 seconds left, so we might just make it as I watch Troy fly through turns 4 and 5. He's improved on his sector 1, but he's ragging the car around. We'll quickly flick through to see if we can catch anyone coming up to the line to set their final time. I mean, we got a yellow flag, we've got 15 seconds left, so who still needs to... So here is the man that we've been paying attention to, Denmark. I don't know if he's just invalidated, like, you know. It's going to be very close. Is he going to make the line? 1 second. Oh my god, he made it.
He's made it.
He made it literally bang on the dot. Buzzer beater, but now we turn the attention to the cars towards the back.
Hugo's had a huge moment and gone off into the wall. That would be his time over and done with. He's driving out the way, so he's currently up at P2, but you imagine that time's going to fall right down the order with the second group.
Here we go then, we can watch Braun coming up to the line and see what he can do. P6 currently. Where can the race winner of round 1 go? Goes P4. And Korsgaard is the man to go provisional pole. Got far improving behind. Troy goes P7. Hugo's pulled out of the way, so yeah, that's Hugo done. We've got the Merc of Slick then coming through the final corner. Keeps out the wall of champions. Where can Slick go? P8 currently. Finds improvement? No, he doesn't. He finds 2/10, but does not find any position improvement.
Be a ruthless guy then, so we'll see where he jumps. Currently P6 and goes up to 4.
Lil D the one stays last as well, unfortunately. Who else have we got? Jamaican Jam to the line. He goes P9. Got the S10 of... Where's Jono? Is that Jono? Jono's done, isn't it? Yeah, Jono's P14.
To line as well.
Aiden, yeah, obviously doesn't find any time as well, so that's P2 for Aiden. K1 doesn't find any time. He finds slight time, no improvement though in terms of position. So that's us done. Brand new driver Korsgaard then, out of nowhere almost, snatches pole position here in Canada. Aiden P2, Hugo P3, messed up his final run, Aretha Sky P4, and then Awkward P5. Is your top 5 all in the 19s? Everyone below that, 24, 21. Well, look at the field spread overall. I was going to say everyone in the 20s, but we've effectively got nearly we got a 4-second split of time. Of course, there, Lil D the one miles off the back, unfortunately. 23.5, so we'll hope that he's a bit more competitive in dry conditions as we move then into the main race here in Montreal.
I think Hugo would be quite relieved considering the error he had in his lap to only drop, well, he was second when he did it, so to only drop 1 position and then
not too bad.
Third. Instead of result.
4/10 the gap between him and pole position though, so Korsgaard putting down a statement here in his first race and in wet conditions. As said, that is your top 5. Bron, race winner in Miami, puts a P6 in quali. Matt, P7, Troy, P8, Slick, P9, Jamaican Jam, P10. That is your top 10. Just outside of that, though, in terms of big hitters, I mean, Finn down 11th. Chesney did not yet to fully see what kind of pace he's got on this game. In 13th, Jono 14th, and then K1 all the way down to 17th, so just not being able to hook up his laps or get some clear space on track. Yeah, Hugo's not happy.
K1, because like you said, it used to always be wet quality and you'd be looking at him for potential pole.
Yeah. He was the guy, yeah. If it was a wet one shot, we would be looking at him and saying, what can he do? But to be P17, I mean, unless he's fully just prepped for the race, I mean, we'll have to see in terms of setups and wing levels that people are running. But at the same time, we've got part permit off, so people might not be aware of that. I imagine someone like K1, he's obviously been around for ages, would have known that, so it's not like he would have compromised his setup necessarily between quali and the race. He's got no need to, because you can obviously run 2 separate setups if you choose to. We'll obviously see what happens in the main race, and obviously mandatory 2 stops are now a thing, so pay attention to that in the chat to see if obviously if someone doesn't, they will be disqualified. So always an interesting thing to comment on, to see if someone does get disqualified. I'd like to think, with the amount of time you said that they've been pinged and reminded, that no one does get DSQ'd, but we'll wait and see. 4-5 lights here in Montreal, and away we go then. I think Aiden's got a good run round the outside.
Jump, yeah.
And he does, yeah, fully round the outside. Goes deep though at turn 1. Of course, got cuts across him and half spins him.
He's dropped right down the order, down to 6.
Orc's been fully spun
8,
as well.
Yeah.
Fully round. I don't know who he got. He effectively got sideswiped by someone all the way to the back for him. More contact in the mid pack as well, as the kicks try to push their way up. Seems to have calmed down a bit. Oh, crazy dive bomb though from the Has of Matej into the side of CT3. Little switchback move from Jono though to get the move done there on Chesney. Matej still, I mean, if that goes to the shoot stream, you would imagine Matej gets a penalty for that. Slightly aggressive, dangerous driving from him. I've got another
Awkward's gone into the back of Lil D1, so it's same moves cause the other flag. Both Albers in 17th and 18th having a terrible time.
That's like real life. I say that, but I mean, the green wheelie bin is no longer a wheelie bin. Matej looks to be, manages to just hold off on Jono for now as well. Jono having just to tuck in behind, set up for P12. Although it's a good run out the final corner though. Looking to get a move done potentially into turn 1. Goes to the inside. I think he's going to make a move stick here. Breaks deep, bit of contact at the apex. continually banging wheels. Matic looks like he's just going to hang off then he does. Manages to hold that P11 and maintain with his position within the pack, so good racing from the pair there. I think the one danger man is potentially Slick, realising he can't drop out of that second margin, otherwise that could be him finished for the race. He needs to make sure he stays within DRS.
It's quite a reasonable, well, there's a few who have gone for the hard start, but a huge majority of the mediums. There's Ron already picked up a 3-second penalty. I mean, we'll see that a lot today, but yeah, I was going to say, to do it that early is not ideal.
Yeah, lap 2, I mean, I imagine he's got literally 2 probably in the first lap just trying to drag the car around and maintain his position, but Canada's are usually notorious for track limits, so but to get out on lap 2 is just, it's almost criminal. Let's see if there's any moves happening towards the front. Hugo's settling in nicely to P2, just tucking in behind Korsgaard. Aiden looking to bounce back as well after that early contact, obviously down at P9 now. But we'll see how we can push up to see if he can get back in that fight towards the front. Is that awkward round again? Oh,
if he retires on track. He spun up final chicane then, and seemed to go off to the wall on the left, lost his wing, and he retired on track. So that'll be 3 penalty points. Matt's the latest to get a 3-second penalty.
Already again. This is so early to be getting penalties like that. I mean, considering you've still got 32 laps on ahead of you to be doing that, I mean, it's just lack of long-term thinking. Everyone's settling though into the race. Finn looks to be trying to pounce on Matt here, going down into the hairpin. I think he's going to get a new stick here. Yeah, goes slightly deep though. Matt goes for a little switchback. Can he pull it off though? The side by side on the exit, I think awkward. But yeah, Finn just manages to hold off for now. I think he gets DRS as well. He does. I mean, both the pair have got DRS. So we watched them down into the Wall of Champions. I think, yeah, Finn is going to survive for now. Yeah, gets that position. Nicely done from the V-Card man. Aiden gets a 3-second as well. I mean, these people, I imagine nearly everyone is going to get a 3-second in this race. I think that's something I can imagine seeing. I think it's just how many some people get. I can imagine someone gets 9 seconds, so I guess that's something we just have to pay attention to.
Yeah, we're even seeing more than 9.
Yeah.
Around here.
I'm just going on board with Finn. It looks like he cut that one corner there. So again, another driver you'd imagine there's going to be an array already that have got 1 or 2 warnings, literally fighting to try and keep that 3rd warning at bay so they don't get a time penalty, but I imagine it will be inevitable as the wear starts to get on the tyres and it just becomes a bit harder to drive.
Finn's done what he needs to do though, because he's on the hard tyres, so he's gone for the hard start and he's used the
in amongst awkward retiring on track and all that, we did miss Hugo getting up into the lead, so we'll see what Hugo can do, whether he can try and stretch his legs and run away from Korsgaard. Korsgaard's still within DRS though, so that gap will be coming down rapidly as they approach the final 2 corners.
I was going to say, I think they're playing it relatively tactical up front, but I say that Korsgaard's falling back a bit here, but when Hugo took who's this? That's Finn at the final corner.
Wow, I was just saying how good Finn was doing. Has he got that wing damage again?
Yeah, I think he's missing half his wing.
He is, yeah. His whole left end plate's gone. But not just the end plate, nearly half the whole wing is gone. And Slick gets a penalty, so full 5 drivers now already. Another one, Jamaican Jam gets 3 seconds as well, so it's turn 4, isn't it? Turn 4. As you dip down into that little chicane, that's what's catching people out, just how early you turn in. Matt actually looks to be a break in the train as well, 1.6 off the back of Jamaican Jam, although we will gain that position currently due to Jamaican Jam's penalty, but you imagine that gap is just going to grow and grow with DRS being enabled currently, so something to watch out for to see if the front line do run away to some degree. Or if obviously Chesney does get past Matej and can close that gap back up.
Yeah, Jamaican Jam's on the verge of losing as well, but he's got DRS. Aiden's got it, so he was obviously within the second in the section, but he's falling behind here. It's double DRS though, so that will help him drive that. Jono's the latest to get a 3-second penalty. Let's move up top as well. Oh, Finn Stevens just took too much of retiring, either that or it's just he's been caught up with the lack of wind.
I imagine that's the case. I mean, that's painful so early. And the one thing though, you know, two-stop, he will then serve that again in this race. Instead of asking for expected strategy, I mean, softs, no. Soft, mediums, no chance that they run softs in a race. Softs just don't have enough longevity, so it'll probably be like a medium hard or something. Medium hard,
Yeah, I think here the tyre wear isn't as bad as a lot of tracks, so I think we will see two sticks on the mediums, whether or not on a lot of the high grade tracks we will generally
too hard.
Yeah.
That's what I'd imagine to see. I don't expect anyone really to be on the softs unless they have a good amount of tyre management, so they can only do 3-4 laps maybe on the softs. But I think anything more than that, you're probably compromising your own race. Oh, it looks like there was going to be a move there behind from the ruthless guy, but just tucks in behind. Bron gets another 30-second penalty. Yeah, already. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Finn, obviously. Did he fix his wing? He did. So that's going to be something to look out for. Obviously, Finn's gone for a bit of an undercut here. He's obviously done one of his mandatory pit stops. So we'll see what he can do, just, you know, plugging away in clear air to see if he can get any kind of leeway and strategy, because he's obviously got that ability just to, you know, run at his own pace and not have to worry about anyone else currently. But
I think if you're Finn, it would just be currently the main thing is realistically I think you wait for a safety car considering the bad wing change on the sense of penalty. I feel like you're just keeping your warning stand, so obviously showing counter that's a penalty for his service again. The worst case scenario is outline, as I said, I guess 3 seconds. It's like the worst case scenario would be on no penalty.
painful, because I guess it's that catch-22 situation. He's in the back in clear air, but then he still wants to push. He still wants to try and push and see what he can do.
Well.
Slick was thinking about a move on course guard as well, but yeah, it doesn't help as well that Bron, the closest man to Hugo, has multiple penalties. So Hugo's looking very good in this stage of the race. Obviously, before the pit stops, there's 2 more penalties coming there from drivers on the grid. So it's very, you know, at the moment we're looking at Lil D1, Matej, K1, Chesney, Troy, Korsgaard, and Hugo, the only people without penalties. So I say that Slick, it looks like he probably cut that. I got a warning there as well. Very early to be getting these penalties. Still,
another yellow flag out.
Is that Matej? It might have been Matej. Still got all his wing. But I think because he was up towards 10th.
I also cut to Aiden, who was ghosted, so whether or not
maybe it was contact between the pair, yeah.
That said, I mean, I'm only guessing. I didn't get quick enough to see who it was, but there's a huge gap as well from Jono's Jamaican Jam now that's fallen.
Yeah, 4 seconds. Jono, it's a bit of a weird race. He's not used to, you know, this isn't the type of place you'd expect Jono to be down in Tier 2. In a train that's not towards the front, and he is that separated point that he's been left adrift. But so we'll
into the pits.
Early stop for Troy then. And we just have to wait and see to see how it pays off. Obviously, he was on the mediums. So this is going to be his longest stint of the race, unless he's going for 2 hard stints. So something to pay attention to, and potentially see if people react to that as well. Obviously, Troy was running well, and Slick gets another 3-second penalty. Still very close towards the front there. 1.7 the gap there with Hugo clear. So looking very good so far for both motor drivers, actually.
The big thing for Troy here as well is he landed himself at 7.5 seconds, which is clean out, just to push on. He's found a solid spot on the track too.
Yeah. Ferrari put a little masterclass up there, found him a nice little window. Constella saying Aiden's
the one's going to check in the wall of champions.
Oh, contact there between a ruthless guy, yeah, just takes him into the wall. Crazy dive bomb there from a ruthless guy, sends them both into the wall. And that's them dropping all the way down to 8th and 10th of us. Painful. I imagine that's 100% going into a ticket. I just caught the end of that and it just looked like a wild dive bomb. Almost like a Kimi Antonelli on Verstappen there. so we'll wait for the
Mark
F5.
had a moment further down. I don't know if he's picked up wing damage, but he suddenly dropped off the back of his teammate. They were running quite close together.
Oh, moment from K1 as well. He's lost several positions there on the exit of the final corner. So that contact though was heavily broken up. But out of all that, Jono has suddenly gone up to P5. A couple of pit stops coming in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pit stops coming in. So Jono's found himself in a nice little window there. P5, Jamaican Jam and P4 as well. Where is Slick? Denmark's retired in the pits. Painful, only lap 10, but that's him calling it a day. .7 the gap up front. I mean, when do these two at the top, when do they decide to end that first stint? 9 laps done. I mean, I imagine they start to come in now, don't they? They need to. I think they need to start reacting, otherwise they're going to get left behind.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it'd be interesting to see how much they fall. I mean, Hugo's pulled himself a nice little gap, but is he going to react this lap? No, he's going to go on, but not yet. So Bron's going to be the one who comes in.
Obviously slightly out of the picture here as well, considering he's got so many penalties at this stage of the race. So I mean, we'll pay attention to him just to see what happens, but I mean, it's slightly frustrating for him that if he has a good race, you know, he can't really do anything because of his need. And that's big though for the lead. Korsgaard is the first in that fight to get the 3-second penalty. Hugo still without a track limit to his name. The next man on track without a limit is K1, and he's over 10 seconds behind, so looking very good for Hugo at this stage.
But then also, if you go to the leader gap, Troy's 17.7 off now, so you're beginning to wonder, has Troy done enough to undercut him? Because he's ahead of Bron, who's only recently come in. But Bron's gone to the mediums, so you'd imagine that off the mark he's going to be quicker than Troy. So as long as those two don't get involved in too much fighting, I feel like they're going to be like that first medium. But Hugo's obviously going to have built himself up a nice tyre advantage here.
Yeah, Hugo's in there. So let's watch him come out and see what the gap looks like into the cars around him. I think this is the one interesting thing about two-stop strategies, is that the race can ebb and flow. So it's not Troy currently. I mean, you can pull him off a nice little masterclass in. So he comes through the final corner now. Let's see the way he goes. Troy's going to be. It's going to be very close. Troy literally just goes past him now. It's going to be quite close as they go round turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, they've both got through.
Yeah.
Him and Bron have got through.
Wow. So the undercut working wonders here in Canada. And I was on board with Matt then, just as he gets a 3-second penalty again. Tugs up right behind Hugo.
Bron runs into the back of his team.
John and Slick get 3 seconds as well. This is going to be a case of, yeah, who gets the most at this point? Does anyone get disqualified for track limit? They're flying in every lap.
Trying to get through. This could be important for his race, trying to get through. Bron's teammate.
Oh, Matic is round.
Wide. And yeah, he's gone round because of it.
Wow, see, that goes to the stewards as well. Oh, and I thought he wasn't going to ghost then. And everything's going, and he drove straight into the back of him, but luckily he still ghosted and was able to drive through and continue his race.
I was going to say, I have to look at the replays for that obviously, but to me it looked like Troy did run wide enough. And
it looked like he gave him space, yeah. It was one of those weird contacts, wasn't it? Where it looked like he just flicked off his fire.
Doing a favour.
Oh, and Troy gets for 3 seconds.
That leaves Hugo without any.
There goes Korsgaard then.
Into the pits as well. He's falling right down.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's miles behind. Him and Jamaican Jam both coming in. So he's behind Jamaican Jam as well. So I don't know what's happened there with Korsgaard. Is he going to behind the V-Cup as well? They're going to be side by side as Bron gets another 3-second penalty. Korsgaard just holds off Finn though. But now's the interesting part now, because we look at the tyre strats. So Korsgaard's gone for the mediums in this thing compared to basically everyone around him on the hard, so something to pay attention to. Fresh in the chat asking as well about 2-stop, saying even if it rains during the race, do we have to make 2-stop? Yes, 2-stop is mandatory across all main races. The only race that doesn't affect that new rule is a sprint race, in which you don't have to pit. You know, the sprint race basically stays untouched. If it's a main race, whether it's the main race in sprint weekend or main race after just the normal quali, you will have to do 2-stop.
Ron's just got through Chesney. He's hit Chesney at a good point as well as he continues to stretch his gap. This is a big for him, but the medium to good work.
K1 nearly completely wiped out Troy there as well, as he was away on the right hand side and realising he needed to pit, so then he had to duck underneath Troy to then come into the pits to service his mandatory, first mandatory pit stop. Constella asking if you have to provide race director. No, so on the final race screen when it gives you race results, it also gives you tyre compounds that's been used in the race. So no worries. But we've always got
your answer. Have you got another?
Yeah, I mean, wait, so yeah. I'll wait for him to ask again. I'll say again. Hopefully I'll let you know when he's back. Some close gaps through the field, not completely spread out now, as Bronze managed to get into a nice window here though, obviously with the undercut. He's managed to go 2.8 seconds up the road. He has got the penalties though, and the painful thing for him is the one driver behind him is one of the only drivers without a track limits violation that's led to a penalty, so Yuka's in a nice little window here.
Yeah, that's like you said, that's a huge problem with Bronze Race here, is the amount of penalties he's done exactly what he needs to do on this. When he's gone to the separate strategies on the lap, it's great when don't drag them along.
We might see a move here down into turn 1 between Troy and Matt here. Matt with a compromise run through the final corner, and through goes Troy then up to the podium positions. Interesting strategies, really getting interesting here. Troy and Matt finding good time in the pit stops with their undercuts, so we'll have a quick look at pit stops. So obviously everyone's done 1 so far. Course guard down 4 positions, Aiden down at 8 after the lap on contact between him and the Mercedes driver. Slick gets another penalty. K1 at 3, Jono at 5, and the big winners at the front. I mean, Bronze at 5, Troy's at 5, Jamaican Jarrett and Finn both at 4. Okay, now the Kinsella's back, I can tell you. So you don't have to provide race director proof. When the race finishes, next to the final race classification, it tells you the tyres that they've used across the race distance in terms of pits. So no, I mean, if we've got any doubts about people, we could always add them to a ticket, but we'll know just from that what people have done in terms of their pit stops. So no worries.
The ruthless guy's going to get through his teammate. I don't think they're going to fight hard, considering, I mean, it's not even from position on track, with Finn still needing surface control.
It's interesting just to see in terms of a race that, last week we were looking at, dive bomb actually there from Aiden on Finn trying to follow his teammate through. Contact there between Finn and Aiden. But yeah, it's interesting looking at last week when it looked like the two of the constructors to beat. Are they going to go side by side through that? Oh, they do. Good racing from...
I think they were lucky though, because I think Aiden ghosted. Whether or not they would have made contact.
I think they would have done. I was expecting someone to get snapped into the wall though. Slick stuck behind Finn there as well, and nearly gets half spun with a bit of contact, I think. But yeah, V-Carb and Aston, they were teams that we were looking at being fighting for the constructors, so the fact that they're all the way down there, 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 11th, all on track together as well. Very interesting to see what happens as well, whether they can turn things around as they go into the third stint of the race. Hugo's brought that gap down as well.
I was about to say, I wonder if we're already beginning to see the mediums getting quicker, so the hards is getting quicker with Bronze mediums dying. As Matt goes up to 9 seconds of penalties. Bronze with the most ready up to 15.
God. I mean, at that point, that's beyond race compromising, isn't it? That's a pure race destroyer. I know everyone around him's got penalties as well, but that's going to send him flying down the order and just completely ruin his race. Even if he wins, for example. I was going to say, because of the other penalties, he's just about going to hold on to a top 10 finish at the moment. Yeah.
Sort of in the next lap, but yeah, it's going to only be lower end points.
Just really needs to calm it down, otherwise he's going to pull it all the way to the bottom. Darky's in the chat. Unfortunately, Darky not here with us today because he's currently in a full body cast. Not been able to race. So he's got little D1 in his seat instead, and he's having a painful day at the office. One of the Saubers already in the pits and retired. The other one bottom of the field by 10.9 seconds. Now Darky's fully in cast. He's been mummified. He's not got one arm. He's fully covered the cars. But look at that gap as well. Yeah, 1.5. So Hugo's really rapidly closing the back of Braun now. So imagine this is the ascendancy of the hard tyres now. It's just a case of when the likes of Braun, even Korsgaard. I mean, Finn's done 11 laps on those mediums now, so you'd imagine Finn's calling it a day at some point. As Jonathan gets past the Rusa, so that war between Vikaarp and Aston hots up then. And Hugo though, Hugo gets the 3 seconds. So at the moment, Matej is my driver of the day. The only man without a track limit, regardless of where he finishes, he's my driver of the day. It's a race like this though, that you think later on in the race, if he's still got no penalties, and there's a safety car with a couple of laps left, but he's going to win.
Oh, he's going to... I mean, by the time this field spreads out a bit, even based on some of these penalties, he's generally going to get probably in about 7th or 8th at least, even if he's right at the back.
Yeah, I guess the one downside to him is he is currently 9.3 off the back of K1, so if he wants to kind of fully reap those rewards, he does need to somewhat catch up to the back of the pack or see what happens in the third stint. But yeah, I mean, wow, one driver out of 16 without penalties as Ruthless Guy gets back through on Jono. So big fight here between, I mean, look at it, Aiden's right in the back of Jono as well. Whether Aiden's going to go for a move here on his teammate, no, I think it's better of it. But now anyway, team orders that display here as well, hoping that they don't get in each other's way or cause any issues.
So Finn's into the pits then, so he's serving his 10-second penalty. But obviously that'll be him done for Scott.
Yeah. So that is something to
Makes
watch.
me wonder then, are we going to see Braun coming in shortly? Because obviously I think they were on the same tyre stack. So.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you look at the gap and yeah.
Oh, Hugo's gone round the outside, there's contact made, Braun's round. It'd be interesting to have a look at that one back, but yeah, Braun's completely spun round and falling right down the order down to 8th as he gets going. Yeah, Aiden gets him as well, so down to 9th. And with his 15 seconds of penalties as well, it's going to cost him huge, that spin.
And that's him done, effectively, yeah, with 15 seconds of penalties. Unless he's going to get heaps of penalties removed for whatever reason. You'd imagine that's him last at this point, effectively. P9, is this going to be him coming into the pits now as well, just to get rid of these tyres? I mean, the one thing I always say at this stage, it does look like we're going to have a new race winner. Braun obviously won the season opener in Miami, but nowhere near the fight now after that contact and the penalties to his name. So we've got that Finn round.
Yeah, Finn's gone round.
No damage.
It looks like he's... Yeah, I was going to say it looks like his wing's intact, so he can
just caught the curve and whipped it round. Oh, he's got very deep in the final corner as well. The next corner, the chicane.
But now with Braun out of the equation, this now leaves Hugo vulnerable to sort of Troy and Matt behind with no DRS for him. Whether or not we're going to see a bit of battling as they begin to approach the back straight.
Yeah, strategy's going to get interesting now to see what tyre people opt for in the third stint. Because on like Troy and Matt, they've gone a couple of laps longer on these hard tyres already. So it's whether they're thinking about going hard again. I mean, they're clearly enjoying these tyres because they're pumping in good times and they've catapulted themselves into a great position on track. As 3 goes in, so Troy takes the lead here in round 2. Around the outside of Hugo. Matt's looking that there's a potential opportunity as well. Gets a good run through the final corner, but I don't think he's quite going to be able to get that to stick.
I was going to say, he really showed some commitment into that final chicane.
Yeah. I guess he's already thought, fuck it, I've already got a couple of penalties to my name. I just send this one in.
So Braun's into the pits now, so he's coming off of his mediums, so he completes the final stop.
It's painful as well when you just get track limits because you can obviously remove a 10-second penalty. It'd be great if you could just remove that as well. Just remove a 10-second from all your track limits. So Slick gets another 3 seconds.
That's Slick also up to 15 as well.
Yeah, Slick's finished as well. CT3's got a speeding in the pit lane, so he's only on 6, so he can get rid of that in his next stop. But yeah, look at that. I mean, B16 Matt on 9 as well. Even, it's all even Steven towards the front really. Like most people on 3. So Ruthless Guy that's slightly screwed, but the people he's fighting have also got 6. So for that, that's not too bad. Jamaican Jam though, having a very good race, considering, you know, he was a guy that we'd associated with Tier 3. So for him to be looking in a very comfortable fight in the points, I think that says enough about his improvement.
I was about to say, Hugo got mental straight line speed in comparison to Troy down the straight. There must be a huge wind difference between the two.
And there goes Matt then. Matt's taking the lead here as well. Caught Hugo slightly unexpected through the final corner. A bit of a moment he had. Good run though for Matt, and he flew through down to turn 1. So Matt takes the lead here. Jamaican Jam in touching distance with the lead as well. So, but Troy yet again, he's going for the undercut. So now I think it's going to be a question of the state of his tyres towards the end. Obviously he's gonna reap the benefits of the undercut, but it's then whether it's beneficial then in the long run to have done what he's doing. Obviously he's gonna only 13 laps to be fair, but it's on the mediums, and we've seen the mediums start falling off after around 6 laps. So
one thing I'd say though, he's done well again to put himself in. He's about 4.5 seconds between there, now only 4, but he just find another solid spot on track just to be able to show his pace and not get caught up with anyone.
And to be fair, it's behind medium runners. You'd imagine would be calling it quits at some point shortly as well, as Bond gets another 3 seconds.
I wonder at what point you get disqualified.
Ah, we were waiting too.
Or Matt's into the pits as well then.
Can still saying one more stint. Yeah, it depends who you're referring to as a one more stint. Because Troy's done that. Troy's done for the race. So he can go to the end on these tyres. He's done his 2 stops. Most people now are coming in for their second stop or there or thereabouts, as either one gets a 3-second penalty again.
We've got Austria next as well. Oh, Bond's out. Is that on track?
No, it's in the pits. I guess it's got to the point that he's realised that his race is going to be completely finished. And he just realises he's got no chance of scoring any points. With his I think he had 18 seconds of pens at the time, so at that point, call it a day. You might as well save the engine, bring it in. Jamaican Jam's in touching distance towards the front with Hugo as well. It's having a very contact as well. I think it was Hugo clattered the wall on the exit then of the hairpin.
You just wonder if Hugo's gone too long on both his stints here, or whether or not towards the end of the race he will come back with some proper pace. He's go defence against Jamaican Jam, but Jamaican Jam's never going to go for it.
Yeah, he bailed out himself as well, just eased off the throttle, and then Hugo made his defensive move. But I think Jamaican Jam's going to go for a move here into turn 1. Thinks of it, but it's a tentative move, doesn't really commit to it. Goes to the inside, but doesn't necessarily show any real commitment to the move. He's got a good run out of turn 2 though. Going down into turn 4. It just settles in then, and lets Hugo run away. Lets the battery recharge, and they'll go again next lap. Got much more ERS to play with though compared to Hugo.
I think it's just sensible racing at the moment for him, just to not do anything stupid. Well, you know, Troy on his undercut has now hit back to Chesney and CT3. Yeah, and Slick as well, so it's a bit problematic for him now.
Needs to get moves done, yeah. He's past Chesney. He just needs to make light work of it. Needs good traction here out of these corners, and he needs to get past CT3 on the exit of the hairpin really if he wants to make anything stick, and then he's behind Slick as well. So
Finn's had a horrid time out there as well. I cut to him because I saw he had a flag around him, and whether or not he went in the wall of champions or just lost it at the front of the game, and the end of that as well. So here we go, making Jam and Hugo in.
Troy's again, we've seen this issue with Troy before. It's slightly frustrating. Like, he had the move done on CT3, but no battery. Oh, and he's been slightly compromised in the final corner there. I think that's Lil T1 that's in the wall somewhere as well. And it's BCFC Matt sets the fastest time, so he's doing well on those mediums currently. Shoots all the way up to P5 as well, with pit stops.
Look at that for an undercut though. Hugo's nowhere near it.
Oh, coming out of the pits, Jamaican Jam's had an absolute stinker, and he's got into the grass, and then through goes Hugo. So Jamaican Jam messing up on the exit there, just carried too much speed, and then she flew off track all by himself. But yeah, look at this though. Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what happens in terms of tyre life on these guys, because the likes of Troy and Matt, they're gone up the road. But obviously Troy's got 3 extra laps on these mediums. He will get to the end, but I mean, the state of which we'll have to see. And he's got another move done there on slick.
So the problem is I don't know who was behind the DRS detection.
Troy was.
Troy,
yeah,
wow,
Troy sent up.
Considering it's double DRS as well, that sort of thing.
But look, he's
like
got no...
Slick's still coming at him. He's got no straight line to lead, and Slick's going to do a solid 15. Oh no, it's not.
Into the pit.
And he's speeding.
Oh, and he's got 10 seconds. I mean, he's already on, what, 15, so that's...
That's a 25.
Yeah, I mean, the race is over for him. I mean, at this point, he might finish ahead of Finn, and that's it, but it looks like points well and truly over as a chance there for Slick, unfortunately. But look at this, very good for Troy here. He's quietly going very well. He's got Matt for close company behind him as well, within DRS. I think Matt's got a couple more penalties there. He's got 12, so that's the only disadvantage for Matt's current state in this race.
I was going to say, considering he's already up to 15 seconds, I thought Slick was going to try and stay out and cause a bit of a problem for Troy, and just have to sort of close in on him.
Yeah, Hugo's in a bit of a weird position here, because he's behind Korsgaard. He's on hards as well, so that'll be Korsgaard going to the end. I mean, we'll have a... Oh, look at that as well. So through goes Troy and Matt just on traction. Flies past John, who's the 15 lap on these hards, so I imagine it's going to get to a point where it might be John who pits here. Wait and see. Does he come in? No, he doesn't. Goes on
from the race lead as well.
So yeah, that's
Troy's back up top.
Aston's not feeling a need to double stack, or don't want to obviously double stack, so yeah, John goes around again. I imagine that would be him in next lap, so he doesn't lose touch with his teammate as well. Interesting race here. I mean, we'll have a look at pits to see what people have done. So John has still got to go in again. I imagine, like we said, it'll be in the next lap or two. Chesney's still got to come in as well. Matech is in now. Finston 3, and he's got another penalty to his name. So now it's just going to be a case of seeing what Hugo can do. He's got past Korsgaard there, so that's what he needs to do, but he needs to save his battery, because at this rate Korsgaard's going to go flying back past if he's got any traction left in those tyres to keep him alive. Oh, we've got Chesney. Chesney's round. Yet to do his pit stop. I think he's missing part of his wing as well. I think he's missing an end plate, and we will wait for the camera to switch. He does, yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine he was about to get to his pit lap as well. That's painful.
John is still going on. He's still sending outside chance for a P10.
That's mad, isn't it? Yeah. He's just entered the wall, and it's like, yeah, it's still going to get points. So this guy gets another warning as well. I'm very intrigued to see. We'll have a full debrief in a couple of laps to see the full situation, to see the full extent of penalties across the grid. But like I said, Matech's the only man without penalties, and he's actually gone onto the softs. So we'll keep an eye on that to see how the softs actually pay off for him in this stage of the race. It's Korsgaard and Jamaican Jam scrap, but Korsgaard slots in nicely behind him. Jamaican Jam through goes then on those medium tyres, putting them to good use. So now this is the real test end. Hugo's past Jono, 2.9 seconds the gap. What can Hugo do now that he's in a bit of clear air? Is there any chance that he can get in amongst this scrap? I mean, in terms of ERS, Troy's burning a bit, Matt's got 57%. I think if Hugo just wants to deploy his raw speed, he needs to save his battery and then hope that by the time he gets up to the front two, he's got enough to play with, and that he can get a move done. Otherwise, he's not
Matt's
going
on
to
the
be able to
back
get it
of him now, though, isn't he? But you can't imagine he's going to fight him hard considering the difference in penalties.
Yeah. Unless it's an ego situation. But yeah, for Troy's race, if Matt does get a run on him, he should just let him go, because there's no reason for him to fight him. Obviously, in terms of penalties there, Hugo and Troy both have 3, so they're fully together in terms of their fight for what is the win. So at the stage, it's going to be Troy versus Hugo for the win. Jamaican Jam's slightly behind, but he's got a couple more penalties. Yeah, Jamaican Jam's got 6. So at this stage, it looks to be Ferrari versus Mercedes for the race win. But then you've got a couple of cars that are still floating around in the equation to see if they can have an answer to that question as well.
It's also whether or not any of them are on the verge of another penalty.
Yeah.
Or whether or not.
I mean, Hugo's pushing a lot because he's found nearly half a second on them in the last lap or two to bring that gap down to 1 point. Well, it's on that cusp now, 2 seconds, but obviously that gap's going to eke up a bit now with Matt being in Troy's DRS. It's right on the back of him. Whether he's going to make a move into 10-1, we'll see. I don't think he is. It's Troy's, flicked on his DRS and he's saving. Just trying to get some battery back. So it gets another penalty.
It's up to 18, 28, sorry.
I mean, at this point, this penalty's going to send him to Texas. Down in 8th, but I imagine that's going to be plumb last. And maybe finishes behind Finn, ahead of him, behind him. I mean, we'll wait and see what the final order is. I mean, at this point, we have no idea who is anywhere, really. Apart from the front two, we know that the front two, in terms of Hugo and Troy, that's
done their
fine.
stops now, so that's at least settled down.
2 soft runners as well, which is interesting. Chesney Troy slightly fallen apart now that he I'm assuming he repaired his wing. I sent him down to P13, but he's on the softs though. A couple of laps on these. We'll have 7 laps on those by the end of the race, but we'll see if they're in any kind of functioning condition by that point.
I was going to say as well, next week we're on to Austria, which I don't think it'd be as bad as this, but that's another one that's well known for trying to get penalties.
Yeah, and rain. It's a sprint obviously for the for Tier 2 next week as well, so stay tuned for that. Look at this, look at very close now. Hugo's got DRS that lap. He's managed to snag some DRS from Matt that lap, so 4 laps left and Hugo's fully in this now. He just needs to see if he can get past Matt, and if he can, it's all out war then between Troy and Hugo for the win.
Oh, Matt gets another, that's up to 15 seconds of penalties for him.
Just further salt on the wounds for both Matt and then Finn, who's got another 3 second one. Matt has got one. There goes the
only
clean
man
through.
left.
A fallen soldier. So driver of the day shifts now to someone else, so we'll have to. I mean, maybe I'll put Matic on the boat just for the vibes. Look, oh my god, look how close Hugo is here. He's got a beautiful run through there. And it's whether Matt tries to hang it down the outside. No, settles in behind him. So now with Hugo having track position, I mean, he might even have a run on him this lap. I think he's going to be slightly too far back. It's just whether Matt tries to fight back, and I think Matt is trying something here. Both got DRS, and with a bit of DRS to play with, but no, can't fight back. So Hugo through then, so the only thing standing between him and victory now is a member of the Ferrari team.
I think he defended it here, Troy, but from what I've seen, Hugo has a huge straight line through the advantage. So unless he can really pull away during the lap, I think the sequence is quite easy from the back straight. Never say that. Hugo does have a bit of a moment, just for a bit of that. Oh, and there's another moment, he's sliding everywhere. I think Matt's done the same to let a ruthless guy through.
Wow. Obviously at this point it doesn't really matter because his tyres are, I mean, it's based on penalties, he's out of the question. You can still ask him why is he so much faster. I mean, it's just set up at that point, he's probably running 10 or so lower wings. And Troy gets another 3 second penalty, so that compounds the pain. Not only has he now got to worry about Hugo behind him, but 3 second penalty is now almost given the win to Hugo.
That's the other one as well, gone at the final corner. So he's trying to get going again.
It's just stopped on track, right? Keep seeing,
Yeah,
there
Hugo's
goes
got
Hugo.
through easily.
Yeah, little deep
He's got going now, but he's going to get up to almost being blue flags.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I mean, this stuff I imagine he's going to get done. As Finn as well, it just shows how painful his race has been. He has gone onto the soft speed, just come out of the pits there.
Yeah, so he's fallen the lap behind as well.
Ooh, Hugo nearly having a moment there through the S's. Needs to keep out of the wall, but does so. And he's put a nice little gap over Troy here as well. Just 2 laps remaining here in Canada. Been an interesting race with the change in the pit strategy.
Hugo's got a bit of DRS there as well off of the Salva. He's managed to catch the Salva at a perfect time for him.
I think Finn's going to be a bit too fast for him. I think Finn might be able to run away, considering he's on fresh softs as well. So Can't imagine there's going to be an issue with blue flags here. Yeah, he gets out of the way as well.
Where the detection point was, but I don't think Troy's going to get DRS. And yeah, I think this is going to be Hugo's race then. I mean, the one thing to say is obviously him and Bron did have a collision earlier in the race. So
yeah.
He was giving it things up, but even a Rufus guy's now got through to it. I mean, that said, Rufus guy getting through is going to hook them back together with Hugo.
Yeah, so never say never. I mean, Rufus guy might look to have this done on track and then just see if Hugo gets penalised. I mean, yeah, I said that, he's got 6 seconds more penalties, so Rufus guy not doing himself any favours there, really. Troy's just throwing the car around.
That's really fallen off as well now, so I wonder if their tyres are just completely dead, but they get to the end, but what it was Slick another 3 seconds to get up to 31 seconds of penalty. Chesney gets the move done on the half for turn 1.
31 seconds is like, you know, I mean, he's going to finish, what, 13th? Because I guess Finn is 34 off the back, so we got a yellow flag towards the back there.
Oh, it was, yeah, it was Matic trying to get back at Disney when they come together and both had a bit of a
couple of drivers on the softs as well, still getting to go. What's Chesney's softs looking like? Looking in somewhat decent.
Rufus does going to take the lead here. He's looking for the inside on Hugo. No, he backs out of it. He's going to think better of it into the final chicane, but I think that's really messed up his entry, and I don't think he can have a chance to do it.
Yeah. Korsgaard gets another 3 seconds as well.
I think if Rufus guy was faded season too late though. Just by the time he backs out, he really couldn't get back in the racing line. He just messed up his exit completely. But still, he's right on the back of Hugo. Oh, he runs wide into the grass, and that could be Hugo gone.
Yeah, just look at that 1.1. So yeah, that's going to be Hugo then. Looks like he's clear. I mean, just in terms of penalties from behind as well, he's not really got to worry about that as well. But Ritter Reeves is kind of making that mistake. All but seals the deal. See Hugo winning here in Montreal, but we're watching through. He comes into sector 3 to see, just to make sure that that is what does indeed happen. I'm
There's a huge difference in battery though. But as I said, that Rufus guy slides around the hairpin, whether or not he's going to have enough of an exit. I mean, it's 7 tenths, and it's a huge difference in battery. So Rufus guy's going to empty his entire battery.
I think he might have him.
Yeah, with DRS, I think he's going to get this in on track. If Hugo tries to defend, he looks to the outside.
Well, they're going to go side by side through the final corner.
Yeah, there's contact made on the exit, but a Rufus guy's going to hold it up to the line.
So Rufus guy wins on track, but it's then Hugo who inherits the win with penalties against his rival there. Troy then hops up into P3 after Rufus guy had 3 seconds more penalties than his counterpart there. Slick gets a 10-second penalty unserved.
Yeah, that was already added on to it.
Yeah. Korsgaard finishes P4 in a great first race, same with Jamaican Jam. First race back, finished P4 and 5, so great effort from the pair of them. Korsgaard doing a monster stint on the hards at the end there, 14 laps, only man on track with the hards on. Aiden brings it home in P6. Matt drops down to P7, unfortunately, but had a good race regardless. John at P8, and then it's Red Bull's K1 and CT3 reserving in at 9 and 10 in your final point scoring positions. Outside of that though, we've got Chesney just missed out after, you look at that gap, 6 seconds, and he was in the wall with wing damage. You'd imagine that he would be kicking himself about points. Slick as well, is he retiring in the final lap? Where is he? Oh, has he not actually just left? I don't know if he's made the end though. I'll have to do a VAR then potentially of that, but I don't know if he's just called it quits there on the final lap.
Yeah, I think Finn just pulled into the pits so that the game finished for him. So
I think it was Slick.
No, Slick had already finished because Slick already had all of his penalties.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a game shifting down with the lead off.
Two Brits on the podium and an Indian, but Hugo wins here in Montreal, although there may be potentially a couple of things going to the stewards' room, so we don't fully know what's going to happen until tomorrow, so bear that in mind. That until the stewards' report comes out, the finishing order is only provisional, so you've got to wait 24 hours to see what the full picture is. hopefully I'll get a full look of what's what as well. Most overtakes, we've got K1, driver of the day goes to Troy in game, but then that'll obviously go to a vote as well. Big field spread as well, look through the order, but yeah, that's what we were on about as well. If Constella's still here, it shows the stops there, so we can just nick that as well. But there it is then, so Hugo wins in round 2, Troy P3, and Aretha Sky runs out the race in P3. Interesting race. I mean, a couple of things, question marks potentially going into next week and into the stewards room, so keep an eye on that. But now we turn our attention then to Tier 1. Different conditions there in Tier 1, obviously same format, no sprint or anything in Tier 1, but this time we've got dry quali, and then we got the 4 seasons in the race. I think it will start dry and then it just get wetter and wetter as the race goes on, so could be an interesting one. Obviously with the 2 stops implemented as well, we'll see how that affects the running order or the general race itself as well. So yeah, if you want to watch that, I think K1 will be looking after you later on. That'll be on in around an hour or so. But yeah, if you're just interested in watching Tier 2 here, we'll quickly have a see what's around next week. And I think, as we've said, it is Austria and it's a sprint. So who knows what can happen there. Big points up for grabs early doors the season. So yeah, if you're interested in watching that, come around next week. But yeah, if you want to stick around and watch Tier 1, please feel free to do so. And if not, we will see you next week in Spielberg. Goodbye.